The Star Wars Battlefront hype continues, and I have to give a big shout out to the community for stepping up this weekend to break new records with the game. This Saturday we had the Battlefront Resurgence event where the goal was to crush as high playing numbers as we possibly could. Which we did. We hit a new Steam all-time record on Sunday, actually, the day after. I really thought Saturday was gonna be the peak at 18,000 players. And as you probably know, that is just a sliver of the total numbers. But during Saturday's event, we got so many players into the game that the servers crashed across all platforms. Unfortunately, this also crashed the player count system that my source has been getting his numbers from, so the last number I can give you is that on Saturday we peaked out at 329,000 players. We might have gotten higher than that on Sunday, but I can't say for certain. All I can say is that we made our voices heard, and this movement has spread so far now. On top of the massive player numbers, the game climbed up on various top selling lists on PlayStation and Steam, and I feel like if you go to just TikTok or Instagram, you will see reels from just random big ass companies memeing and promoting Battlefront 3. This has really reached levels I never expected, and the amount of developers and actors who have spoken out now is actually crazy, and that's something I wanted to go over in this video. But before we get into that, I wanted to give a massive thank you to Saber Theory for sponsoring this video. They're one of the biggest lightsaber companies out there who are running a massive sale until June 1st where you either get 30% off, or you can buy one saber and get one free, or even buy one saber and get two free depending on how big your order is. So if you ever wanted to pick up a high quality lightsaber and experience those heroes versus villains moments in real life, this is the week. Check it out in the description below. But now let's get into the juicy Battlefront bits, because the Battlefront savior himself, Dennis Banval, is back on Twitter for the first time in I think over 2 years. He just posted, "I felt a great disturbance in the force," and this tweet alone got almost 1 million impressions, which is absolutely insane. In case you don't know, he founded his own studio where a lot of the ex-Battlefront 2 developers are currently working. So he did give a few updates on that, saying, "Thank you, it's a fantasy multiplayer PvE RPG, so quite different from what my last game was. I'm a bit hesitant to speak of it while we're celebrating Battlefront 2. He also continued in another tweet saying, "It's been hard times in the gaming industry lately, but we've managed okay. We're almost ready to start inviting players to try our new game, which is exciting and scary." So as you probably understand, I don't think Dennis or most of the developers at his studio would be interested in working on Star Wars Battlefront if the game were to either be revived with like a remaster or have a brand new Battlefront 3 game. But I'm not saying it's not gonna happen, I'm just saying it's not very realistic right now. If I founded my own studio and I've been working on a game for years, I'd probably want to focus on that no matter how much I loved Battlefront. He also said something quite interesting in regards to Matt's plan, which is something I went over in a previous video. Matt, one of the previous developers and producers on the game, thought that the good idea was to remaster Battlefront 2 first for the newer consoles and then use that team to build a Battlefront 3, which also means they would much easier be able to move over the content from that remaster to a Battlefront 3. But he actually responded to my tweet saying, "I love Matt's, but I disagree with his plan." I tried to ask him what his ideal plan for Battlefront 3 or Battlefront 2 would be. Unfortunately, I didn't get a response yet. But it would have been very interesting to hear exactly what Dennis thinks is the most realistic plan for the franchise, since after all, he's probably the most qualified person to answer that question. Other developers have also spoken up. CJ, the weapons designer on Battlefront 2, said that he fired up Battlefront 2 and that it was a strange feeling seeing this menu again after 5 years. He actually works on Star Wars Outlaws right now, and I've done a lot of good stuff for that game. Harvey, who was the lead animator on Battlefront 2, also spoke out in regards to Battlefront 3, saying, "Loving the renewed hype around Battlefront 2, I was lead animator on the game. If Battlefront 3 ever happens, I'd love to return. The team was excellent and the community feedback loop was the best I've seen in my career. So many ideas left on the table." And just to be clear here, Harvey actually founded his own studio a while back, just like Dennis, And the fact that he still speaks up saying that he would love to return to Battlefront 3 just shows how much love and willingness there is for this franchise, not just from the fans, but from the developers too. And all of these people are people I've hung out with a lot during the development of Battlefront 2, and they really were so down to earth, they knew what the community wanted, and they did a fantastic job. I'm not saying there's no one else in the world who could pull off a great Battlefront game, but to have some of these people back on a potential future Battlefront project, I think would mean a lot. But we're not done there. We've got so many more people speaking out, including almost the entire Inferno squad. First of all, Anthony Scordy, who played Garrick Versio, Aiden Versio's father, says that he wants a Battlefront 2 prequel, and he's been out on Twitter being very active during this Battlefront 2 revival. I'd imagine that the prequel reason is probably because, well, his character dies in the campaign, so obviously they couldn't continue it that way. Next up, we have TJ Ramini, who plays Del Miko. He's been very loud and active in the support of Battlefront 3, posting a bunch of behind-the-scenes content from Battlefront 2 on his Twitter and responding to as many of us as possible, saying that he wants a Battlefront 3. And lastly, of course, Janina Gavankar, who played Aiden Versio, also shared this about Battlefront 2 on her Instagram. So it's clear that pretty much the entire Inferno squad wants a new Battlefront game. But to be completely honest here, if they were to make a Battlefront 3, I'm not sure if continuing the Inferno squad story with a prequel or somewhere else is really the way to go. And at least, as I've said a lot, I personally don't even think we need a campaign. We've got plenty of single player story games, but that's my own opinion. I know a lot of you will not agree, but I think Battlefront should foremost be a multiplayer game or sandbox game with instant action. I still think the characters could return as heroes in the game, but I don't think a story around them is the way I would like to go with the game. Continuing, Mats has also been out responding a lot on Reddit. For instance, a lot of his quotes have been taken kind of out of context and have reached big media such as IGN and other news outlets. So he responded saying the following: "I am the person in all of these articles, and a lot of my quotes have been taken out of context. My pitch to remaster is that the engine that Battlefront 2 runs on is from 2014. It's so old now that getting stuff on it is hard, and the extraction of content from the game is equally bad. So upgrade the engine, make it crossplay, get 4K assets in place, get a team in deep with every part of the game. There is a laundry list of things that can be done to improve the game. This should all go into the remaster. Then start a Battlefront 3. Everything learned from the Battlefront 2 remaster should give a very nice perspective on what needs to be in there. Also, with all the upgrades on the old engine, porting over maps and characters and placing them in the new modes and environments suddenly becomes much easier." Also, they kind of misquoted him in regards to don't expect Battlefront 3, and what he said was basically that don't expect a Battlefront 3 announcement after this rally, because even if they were to start on a game today, it would take like 2 years before we would even get an announcement. Unless they go down the route of the first Battlefront EA game that they actually did announce with just a teaser trailer and a logo pretty early on when they started development. Lastly, the whole term Battlefront is actually trending right now across various platforms, and if you go to Google Trends, you will see that it's on the highest peak for over 5 years, and it's actually beating out both the Classic Collection and the Epic Games Free Weekend, showing how far this movement has gone. And as I've said, so many developers, actors, big YouTubers and streamers, and huge news outlets have all covered this, so there is no way that EA and Lucasfilm have not heard this. I think we should just keep up the pressure. Don't let this die down. Keep talking and playing a Battlefront. Obviously, it is gonna die down a little bit in the next couple of weeks. I don't expect people to be able to make this much noise for a long period of time, but the more noise we make, the more we play the game, the more likely it is that something will eventually happen. So great work, guys, but the work is not over. Keep it up, and I will also keep you guys up to date with anything that happens in the Battlefront community. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.